Hello, this is Sean back in the video. This time it is my review for Batman, the movie, directed by Tim Burton from 1989. Not the original 1966 version, but the newer, updated one from 1989. I mean, it's not new, obviously. It was directed by Tim Burton, produced by Peter Guber, with screenplay by Sam Hamm, based on characters appearing in the DC Comics. Now this one basically plot revolving around the mayor of Gotham City orders Harvey Dent and James Gordon to increase police activity and combat crime in preparation for the city's bicentennial. Vicky Vale, played by Kingsley Bassinger, is one of the photojournalists sent to investigate reports of a vigilante named Batman who is targeting the city's criminals. Basically we see mob bosses and stuff like that, and of course who is in charge, but you know, what's his name? The Joker. Well, sorry, we'll just talk about Bruce Wayne first. So he's played by Michael Keaton, and he's a billionaire industrialist who as a child witnessed his parents murdered at the hands of a young psychopathic mugger. And we see scenes of this sort of throughout the movie, really. So he is sent to basically take down, and whatever we see is he goes to investigate, you know, this place, Axis Chemicals plant, and a murder takes place here. Napier survives the accident but is horribly disfigured with chalk white skin, emerald green hair and permanent ruby red grin. And this is where we get driven insane, and he reinvents himself as a Joker. Basically Batman's first criminal in this new series of movies. And usurps his criminal empire. Now, as we see, he really is just a very good portrayal of Joker, in my opinion. Very creepy, and it's sort of comic-like in a way, but he really combines a lot of his own talent as an actor and also some material from the comics and stuff like that. And you know, you can appreciate that from both sides. Batman, played by Michael Keaton, gets along pretty well with Kim Basinger. I mean, she's not the best actor, but you know, I can't really go too into depth in that. Michael Keaton plays a pretty subdued Batman, who definitely fits a tough sort of, kind of tough, should I say, Batman, and his whole arc. It's seen pretty well throughout. I think Alfred is played by, if I'm mistaken, cannot see who he is, you know, played as, but we know that Jack Nicholson plays Jack Napier, who is the Joker, and Vicky Vale is played by Kim Basinger. Who else is in this movie? Well, there was, you know, Commissioner Gordon. He was a pretty good actor, played quite well, and Carl Grissom, Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, and Pat Hingle playing Commissioner Gordon. So as we see this develop, a lot of what you say would be, you know, plot unfolds. It's the traditional style of the villain, the Joker, you know, trying to get the best of Batman, and it's sort of playing mind games on Batman. And I don't know, I just really like this version of the Joker. He has great lines. So does Keaton, and together they have just a great on-screen chemistry, I think. So it's this big world that they're in, and it is quite Burton-esque. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but basically Tim Burton has written a pretty good attempt at DC sort of style, and yes, the story feels a little thin, but you know, it doesn't matter because it's just great sort of build up to the climax, which we will see. The themes in this one are quite, I don't know, freakish, as I can say. The whole human side of Batman is shown, and yeah, a very human-esque type of thing. They're two disturbed people, really, and that's sort of the theme of the whole movie. Basically, Batman's whole childhood is revealed. I mean, most people know that already, but you see it from a different light, really, and the way he deals with everything in his life, it sort of brings it into the main story. Joker, on the other hand, he's quite messed up as well, and pretty much he's there standing alone. I know he has those all the goons and stuff, but as a standalone, he works very well. The whole Burton-esque type of feel to it is definitely present in the whole set, which gives us a good showing to the makeup, to the delivery of the shots and the darkness and the feeling that you get, and it's just pretty like Burton-esque, and I love that. Some of the climax as it builds up, you see a lot of violence, I would say. I think it's 15 or whatever, and yeah, it does feel like a dullness, but it does kind of ensue back to the comic feel of the 1966 version in ways, and I did see this definitely in Batman Returns as well. It feels quite like that as well. Alfred is played pretty well, and in terms of how the other side characters were played, I think it was a quite strong sort of comic-y feel, which, yeah, it did take away, I don't know, from the main actors, Jack Nicholson. So yeah, Jack Nicholson, who has this kind of dark, sort of realistic tone, and then Batman. Yeah, so, the Joker and Batman. Batman is even played quite realistically here. Definitely more than I'd say a comically tone, but they're just different, sort of, his lines far and few between maybe, but I think that the magic of this movie is they don't really have to speak too much in order to portray their emotions, like, to a degree, and the whole set sort of speaks out as their emotions. It's very dark, it's dank, it speaks of the city of Gotham, and it really gives a good sense of their surroundings. Yeah, so they do stick out in the whole town, and you can tell that even in a weird world of Gotham City that it is, you can see Batman and the Joker, they do have their characters, but they stick out like a sore thumb in this world, and the whole climax really feels great. It feels important because we've seen so much background behind the two, and that's really where the film revolves. So I definitely think Nicholson has as much part to play in it as Keaton does, if not more. I think he played it better than Keaton, and I think he fits so much more into the role. I think he probably fits more into his Joker role than Keaton does into Batman, but I still think it's believable for both men. Also, what can I say? Oh yeah, so our side characters, we have Commissioner Gordon. He is good, he is a good sort of portraying kind of realistic to cartoon aspects. Basically his whole arc, I do not know, but anyway, Commissioner Gordon, is kind of involved in this. Harvey Dent obviously running for mayor. But he's obviously Two-Face in the future, but there's something going on there, but you can't quite figure it out that well. Not gonna kind of give away too much, but yes, the main strong points, as I kind of mentioned, and the whole I think it works, the themes, the whole Tim Burton thing, it really puts Gotham to life, and it worked well. Maybe if it was nowadays it wouldn't work as well, but back in the day, it was sort of a transition from comic and realism. And I think it did kind of stray too much in the comic world, but the real actors, they made a movie, and you can't take anything away from those two. As regards to Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, yeah, it was a good portrayal, an interesting character, yes, and yeah, it did show a nice side to Unique character, and it did show off a side in Batman that we probably haven't seen before. So that was interesting. Who else? We had Vicky Vale. Who else? Commissioner Gordon, played by Pat Hingle. Yeah, I think he was alright. It didn't stand out too much. So yeah, obviously his whole backstory revealed for Batman, and yeah. So that's cool. Right, so that has been my review pretty much for this movie. I can tell you, definitely go watch this if you haven't really seen any of the superhero Batman movies, especially, and you're kind of a fan but you haven't really gone back to the basics. This one is just something that you kind of have to take for what it is. Yes, I wouldn't call it any sort of masterpiece. I would probably say that the story is weak. But for the characters alone, and just to see, if you're a big fan of Jack Nicholson or anything, I think you may be a bit divided on Michael Keaton as Batman, but Jack Nicholson you're definitely going to love as the Joker. So, thank you guys, this has been my review. Next time I'm going to be doing Batman Returns, and also my Marvel reviews will be coming soon. And I'll be going through Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman Robin, oh god, sorry about that, and then maybe the next 3 new ones from Christopher Nolan. So they will probably be coming, all leading up to, of course, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yes, very excited for that one. So that's pretty much it for me. I would, if I have to give this out of 10, I'd probably only gonna give it a 6.5 to a 7. Yeah, I'm leaning on 6.5 on this one. So thank you guys. Actually no, let me rethink. Okay, I'll give it a 7. I'm gonna be nice on it because I actually like this movie just as a nice classic, and it's enjoyable for the action that it does entail. I mean, for me, it probably contains too much violence. Oh, I know you're saying not enough, but anyway, yeah, I just like the tones and all in this movie. I give it a 7.5. I liked it, and you may not agree with me, but you know, just as an enjoyable movie, fun, not really for the family, but just don't blame me. I'm giving it a 7.5. So next time, Batman Returns. See you then.